My name is Natalie Hempel de Ibarra and I'm a senior lecturer in psychology. To be a good researcher in psychology is, as in any science, you have to have this inquisitive mind and you have this curiosity to find out why things are as they are. They are really interested in their subject and they have this inquisitive mind and they are really interested to find out why things are as they aren't and why things are not different maybe. I started out actually studying biology and I was particularly fascinated by animal behavior, and I found out eventually that actually in animal behavior there's a lot of overlap between the disciplines of biology and psychology, so they come together in the area of studying animal behavior and the animal senses. It was a natural progression to then continue my research in the psychology department. There's a very direct effect that the research has on teaching, because essentially it shapes the curriculum. In other areas we go often to conferences, we present our research, but at the same time we look what other researchers do. We learn about new pieces of research, new developments, changes of ideas, changes of concepts, and we can bring those back into the lectures. I'm a bee researcher. So I study learning and memory in bees, I study their senses. It is nice to study them because they often have much simpler brains and nervous systems than mammals. For example, a bee brain is about 1,000,000 times smaller than a human brain. And it's still quite complex, but it's a much better chance to understand the connectivity of the different parts of the brains. And of course, people are interested to understand how bees behave because they're very important pollinators. So if we know how they learn to move in the environment, and this is part of my research as well, so how actually does their spatial learning guide them in the environment, then we can obviously make predictions about the pollination services that they deliver to agricultural crops, to the plants in the urban environment. So in very different layouts, environmental layouts that will require different levels of spatial learning, and we can then probably predict their movement over space and time. So, and that's where we as psychologists can contribute by studying specifically spatial learning mechanisms, and we can provide explanations to people who work in ecology and environment and conservation, to actually understand how animals behave and respond in the environment. What certainly is quite unusual is that I had my first child when I was a first-year student doing my undergrad degree, and so I wouldn't recommend it, but it's possible. It's interesting to talk to students and also my colleagues about having children and career, and so I certainly think that this is possible, and that's probably what is unusual about me. So I already have a daughter who graduated from university.